Welcome and thank you for tuning into our special segment. In our special segment today, we will be focusing on the youth in our community. I'll be in conversation with the board members of the Oromo Youth Association of Minnesota, where we will be discussing youth involvement, community outreach, advocacy and leadership roles for the youth, and Oya's plans for the future. Thank you for tuning in and stay with us. Welcome and thank you for tuning into Oromia11. Today we're going to be having a conversation with the board of Oromia Youth Association in Minnesota, and we're going to start with introductions. I'm going to start with you, Lammi, and welcome to Oromia11. Just introduce yourself, your name, your role on the board.
Yeah, my name is Lammi Aga. I'm here as the Oya Minnesota president. I'm here with my co-VPs as well. We're actually really excited to be here and to talk about Oya. Oya as an organization has been here for 22 years, so we're not stopping anytime soon. So we really appreciate the time.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, my name is Baritu. I am one of the vice presidents. Pretty excited about this term.
Great.
Hi, my name is Safu. I'm also vice president, and I just want to thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We're excited to have you guys. And I will have you guys know I was also part of Oya when I first came here. Okay. So I'm part of that 22-year history. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear also a question that I have is, why and how did you guys join Oya individually?
So for me, my biggest thing is seeing Oya as a group of people here in Minnesota who learn about their Oromo history. Especially for me, growing up speaking English, but also learning about Oromo. Mm-hmm. It was a little different for me learning about my culture. So the way I got into it was through dance. So it was really excited for me to learn about Oromo dancing, cultural dancing. And then I went to school and learned about OSU, Oromia Student Union, at the University of Minnesota. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to Oya.
For me, it's a little bit different. So I didn't grow up in Minnesota. I'm still kind of new to Minnesota. So when I moved to Minnesota, it was like new to me, to be immersed in so much Oromo, like with so many Oromo people. And then, I thought, okay, so I want to be involved in, making my culture grow and, just the success of my Oromo people. So I heard about Oya, and then that's when I decided, I should join.
You joined as a member?
Yeah.
Great story. Where did you move from?
I moved from Kansas.
Yeah. You can believe it.
So that's a different
it's
world.
Really different. It's not diverse like here. I didn't even know like any Oromo people there. So when I moved here, it was like so many Oromo people. It was like, wow, this is wonderful.
It's like moving back home.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to Minnesota.
Thanks.
For me personally, I grew up with the Oromo community. I was born and raised here, and I was raised within my family too. I have a big family. So the Oromo community has always been a part of me. And growing up, I always looked up to Oya. So I was like, I'm going to be them when I grow up. And, as cliche as it sounds, it's just something that I always mentally took part of. I'd always make sure that I went to whatever events they had and everything. So then when the opportunity came to be a board member, I was hesitant just because I'm very shy and just kind of, but
you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, so I took it upon myself to just take a step forward and join the board member that I've been wanting to be a part of.
That's awesome. So what are some of the resources that you could see? Obviously, we have more and more music videos coming out. Mm-hmm. We're doing okay in that regard. And Oromo medias have different shows now. Oromia11 has shows.
That way, right?
Yeah, seriously. Shows like that, shows like
Boom Beats.
Hey.
Yeah.
Those are your friends.
Seeing Maggie on there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, seeing former Oya board members and
Oya president.
Oya president.
Yeah.
Right. So
they're making us proud.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys where did you first, decide I want to learn how to dance? Or did you were you always dancing or,
Yeah, I was always this good. I never had to practice.
Is that true or did you practice? Or,
oh my God, I practiced so much. I was so stiff. I saw videos of myself at weddings that made it to YouTube. I couldn't believe what I used to be.
You used to be stiff?
Stiff.
Okay, I have a chance.
Like these chairs. No, I'm just
I have a chance, guys.
So how did you get better? Like who trained you, or did you just train yourself, or did you just decide I'm going to join Oya, I'm going to learn how to dance, and I'm going to be a master at it? Because now you're a master at it. We can all agree, right? So that journey. Talk a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun because for me growing up here, part of it is learning more about each dance and
Yeah.
wait, I can't do this now. Let me try it, and work on it. And then all of a sudden you realize it's possible.
Yeah.
And then you have more fun, and then you have to break through the barrier of performing.
When did you first perform?
Oh my goodness. I think the first one I actually remember it like vividly
Yeah.
was 2016. And then going into 2017 was like the first year for like OSU,
Okay.
going to other schools and performing.
Yeah.
Seeing other people I don't know performing in front of them.
Yeah.
And now I know them.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling.
How about you? Do you?
I'm not much of a dancer, but I might work on that. We have Let Me Hear. We can.
Hey, if he was
Let's see some.
Right. If
He said he was stiff.
I can definitely do
And
it.
he got
Right.
better now.
That's how I tell people. I just
Right. So yeah, there's hope there.
Practice makes
there's open.
Yeah, there's hope there. So
If we're
yeah.
really talking about anything,
Yeah.
then we have to talk about something. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about something.
Well, like the main thing is like you actually know the names. That's
And
where
that's,
it gets.
that's actually a recent thing. So
okay.
growing up, I come from a big family, like I said before.
Yeah.
So going to weddings and stuff, that's kind of how I learned to dance. But region-wise, that didn't start till I actually got involved in OSU as well.
Okay.
And Oya.
Okay.
But learning the names, actually, that happened this year. I found out through with a fellow OSU member.
Yeah.
They taught me that each region has different dances, which I obviously knew just like depending on the music and
Right.
everything. But I didn't know they had names.
Those dances have names.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, so it's not just Showa, and it's not just Walaga, you know, like there's literal names.
Those are just names of those regions.
And I also learned like the same styles are in like many different regions. Whereas I would think like if I saw it in one region, I think it stays there.
Yeah.
But then I'd see a different song, and I'm like, oh, never mind. Like
You're like studying it in depth.
Yeah,
You can't just say ragada. Like,
yeah,
which one are you talking about?
Is it ballet or Showa? You know, so that's one thing I like looking into, and because I like dancing, so
Okay, when did you start dancing? Just when you
yeah, literally.
the
Whoop.
wedding?
Yeah.
Right into it.
Like I said, like just being around family, like going to family events and stuff. I wasn't good, like I did what I could, but like actually learning wasn't until I started joining OSU and Oya and like doing choreographies with the great legend like him and Maggie.
Look at all of a sudden he was stiff and now he's a legend.
It trust me, when you hear the word stiff and you look at him, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Wait, what are some of the names you learned? I know like for Walaga is like Kumkume,
Gelo, Ichisa.
Ichisa.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning about like Bale region, like Baro, Tare, Ragada.
Yeah, and then Jimma also has Syria, Ortume, Gatume.
See, I did not know this.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
These are the things we came around, but we didn't have like a word to put onto it. There's a
Because
word.
like you just called it by the region.
There's always been that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't, our art culture. It wasn't mainstream. Even a lot of us, like I learned these names right now. Some of these names I knew, but when it's not being done, when it's not out there, the information is also buried. I mean, so that's a great legacy. That's
And
amazing.
I think it's also because of what the previous generation went to with Oromo or Oromuma. You can't be proud of it,
Right.
So you didn't have a choice. And I was told by some of my family members, like they didn't even know other regions because you couldn't travel like that, with all the danger that was. So until you actually came out here or went to a different country, you'd be like, you're from where?
Yeah.
So then it's understandable as to why I think people don't actually know the names of the dances. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's like I guess like a softer version of one of the challenges, but like that's a challenge we have in our community, right? So people aren't aware of all these different cultures within just being Oromo, right? And that exposure, right? Culture shock, it really is.
But that's what we're here for.
Exactly. That's the role Oya has always played, I think, because even, in all of our families, I think we have these people, the elderly, like our grandparents. So every generation has made strides, and you can see those strides in the conversations you have. Like my grandmother calls everybody that speaks Afan Oromo Arsi. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm sure it's other regions are like that too, because they were limited to those regions and they're the, you know, where they come from. And then you see the following generation, they were able to leave and get an education. So they're aware that there's, you know, Oromos from all walks of life in that country. And then now we have the newer generation who are digging up, you know, old history that wasn't mainstream, that wasn't known. And Oya's role has always been, you know, introducing dances and, you know, different little small, you know,
Like,
small minuscule details, but you know, Oya always brings it to the forefront. So I mean, you guys have pushed it really far, because we didn't do all the in-depth study and you know, learn about Gelo. We just called it Walaga region of dance, or you know, Syria. Like I did not know that was a thing. You know, it's like we just did Jimma and we did the dance. So I mean, it shows how far we've come and how far, you know, we can still go. So that's pretty amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So now we want to talk a little bit about Oya. What is Oya? What does it represent? And, you know, how do you see Oya yourselves as board members, and also, you know, as people who recently joined or who grew up, you know, seeing it and being involved in some way, in some part? How do you see Oya, and what is Oya to you?
Yeah, it means a lot of different things to all of us, but the one thing that kind of Brito was talking about is kind of connects us, especially being away from Oromia. And for a lot of people that grew up here or might not know too much about back home, it's a way to learn more about back home. And then also for people who are familiar with back home to stay connected with each other.
Right. So it's something like, I like to say, it's Oromoma to the diaspora. You know, especially for people like, you know, who has not been back home, kind of feel like, okay, this is, you know, somewhat of back home, like back there. So yeah, I like to think of it as Oromo.
And going off of that, it's also like a connection for people who are hesitant to join the Oromo community. Maybe they didn't grow up in the Oromo community, or they don't live by anyone that's Oromo. It's just like they're only by their family. So when they see Oya, they see a bunch of people maybe around their age group, it kind of like, okay, like I can join them, or I can at least be a part of them. So it's like you have some type of culture still with you.
That's great. So, you know, I talked to a lot of youth, and as someone who grew up also part of this Oromo community, I was immersed in the Oromo community, but that was partly because of Oya. And I know a lot of things happen in Oya. What are some of the most important work that Oya has done? You've been a part of Oya for a while. I think you all have been a part of Oya for a while, and you watched it, you know, from probably way back when. So what is, you know, one of the most important things that Oya does for the community, you know, in Oromuma, you know, to advance Oromuma? It's kind of when we are asked, why did you join Oya? It's Oromuma. It's to connect us, like you guys have touched on. But we also use that you know, community, because it is a community within a community, to do a lot of advancing, you know, Oromo causes, and, you know, and even introducing Oromo and what Oromia is and what Oromos are to the world and to our communities. What are some of the things that you guys have seen and that you guys are doing now that is really important work?
Yeah, you talked about advancing stuff, especially with the last year. Oromo protest is the biggest thing, honestly. And what Oya has been doing for years and years is, you know, advocacy work, things like hunger strikes, contacting senators, just raising awareness on who we are and what our contribution to the world is. And those are things we just don't take for granted. Especially as youth, we want to prove that like we're capable of doing all these things, and we show it to each other too.
Yeah, I think one of the important work Oya has done is like connecting the youth, I'd say, because, you know, we have a lot of different diversity within the youth also. So they might be like a lot of Oromo youth that are, there is Oromo events every now and then, but there's some who's just like not really connecting to the Oromo community. So Oya kind of works with, you know, connecting everyone from all different backgrounds to like events and all of this stuff.
Okay. Do you have anything more to add?
No, I actually agree with everything you said, especially the advocacy part with what Lemmy said.
That's awesome. You guys, by the way, are doing a lot of great work. I know I follow a lot of the outreach work that you guys do, and connecting the youth, especially youth that are born and raised here. Do you guys have any like after school programs or events that bring youth together, or outreach to kids in like high schools or other grade schools?
That used to be something we were very big on, and I know we're trying to bring some of that stuff back. There are other organizations. I mean, we would love to shout out, TTL Foundations. That's something they work on heavily, and we were trying to partner with them, immediately just to get that effort going even further, and something that Burrito wanted to work on.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's one of the things, one of our goals this year, to have more after school programs or, youth programs that help like high school students or even up to like, just the youth in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of our goals this year.
Okay. Do you have anything to add? Okay. Thank you. I know when especially heading an organization, it's not easy. And also there are so many different groups within our community. And you guys spoke a little bit about, some of the collaborative work that you guys do. What are the challenges that you guys face? It can be at an individual level, but as an organization, what are the main challenges for you guys that you've come across and you anticipate?
Well, I mean, when you talk about leading an organization, you would think it would be tough with more board members, but they actually make it pretty easy for me. They take responsibility for a lot of the things and they own up to what they have to do, and a lot of stuff gets done. So as far as challenges within the board, we handle those things very maturely.
Yeah.
Working with other organizations is not so much a challenge, it's more of an opportunity. So there's groups out there that have made a name for themselves now, and they really want to start doing the work and not just talking about it, and we love hearing that. So it's kind of what we lean into as opposed to, looking back at.
Okay.
Right, I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. You guys want to add more? Or
yeah, I mean, there is some challenges every like here and there. As a board too, I mean, that's challenges in life in general. That's kind of the same.
They're part of the work.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the work, but it pays off when you see the results. So yeah.
What are some of the things that your community, the Oromo community at large, and it could be your families, it could be families of other youth, that could do to, really empower you guys or, assist you guys? What do you expect?
Do you guys want to answer this one?
Yeah. For me, what I expect is kind of uphold, the Oya name to make it more like, how can I say this? So that the youth is more interested and, push the youth to be more involved with us, because, I mean, we want to get all of these things, all these programs started, but obviously we can't do it without the youth joining us.
Yeah.
So, that's something we would love if parents and family of the youth and even the youth support us with everything we do.
Great. You want to add anything?
Yeah, and I think also it's just like, don't look at us like underdogs just because we're the youth, I feel like the work that we do is just as important as the work that like the elderlies do as well.
Yeah.
So I don't want Oya to be looked at as just a group of just kids doing stuff, and I want it to be like just equal as anything else that's in the community, and to just stand with us.
Yeah, to be taken seriously as
Right, because I mean, it starts here at the youth, right?
Yeah.
So if they are more immersed into the Oromo culture and everything right now with us, it might turn out better,
Yeah, and you bring a unique perspective and a unique lived experience, especially for people who are born and raised here. I know language could be something he touched on, that that the youth coming together and being part of the community, that that goes a really long way. So I mean, that's really important. That's a good message. You want to have anything?
Yeah, no, actually one of our board members wanted us to make sure we said that. So the importance of Oya, right?
Yeah.
You're joining it at a young age for a reason, because you will be the future leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. I know one of the main things that you guys really wanted to talk about is you guys are a new board. Elections just happened, and you have plans, big plans. What are your plans coming up? Just to name a few.
So I think the biggest one we want to work on is, working with TTL, but we also have an event coming up in April for Earth Day.
Okay. So
a lot of what we're focusing on around that time is, bringing good energy back to the earth, and we're also coupling it with an iftar event. So kind of putting it all
Ramadan's
together.
coming up,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, that's one of our things. More events that more people can participate in.
Yeah.
Like Iftar Day. It's for all our community. Everyone can join with us, and also Earth Day helps our community. We're going to be working at in our community.
Yeah.
Doing the work. So yeah, and then more of what we spoke about earlier, the youth. Programs that we're looking at.
Yeah.
So that's one of our goals to start.
More
that
long
running.
term.
Yeah, that's one of the long-term goals. So yeah.
Yeah, and there's also other long-term projects we're working on too. So we also have a frontline advocacy committee that we're working towards building. And then also we're working towards being a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And so getting ourselves squared away with that, as well as establishing our relationships more concretely with other organizations so that it's more of like a working relationship.
Yeah.
A lot of times we kind of just talk about things, right? So getting down to business and making sure it's
Actually
official.
making it happen. Yeah, I actually was going to ask you, do you guys have any big plans in advocacy realm? Because obviously there's a lot going on. And, I know you guys are born and raised here, and some of us were raised here, but what happens in our home country and homeland and to our families concerns us. And I know this has taken a huge toll, especially on the youth. You guys have been out protesting. You guys have been writing letters, emailing, making calls to state representatives and senators and things like that. What is the future in that? Are you guys going to continue? And if you are, what can we do, including me, including Oromia11 and other medias and other Oromo organizations and, the Oromo community as a whole? What can we do to really empower you guys and, assist you in that endeavor?
Maybe if you guys have answers too. I mean, it's not you.
Yeah, just be free.
Okay. I'd say, honestly, I think it just goes back to standing behind us. So whenever we know like a Twitter campaign is going on, or if it's a day to like call senators and stuff, just like kind of spread word and help us, even get it to the elderly people. Or like, I know even where language is a barrier, we have it like all written out for what you can say. So maybe getting that onto other platforms, because I know a lot of elderlies actually tune into Oromia11.
Yeah.
So with you guys could help us with spreading the word on that. But other than that, honestly, I think it's just, like I said, just standing behind us whenever we have any type of advocacy going on.
Okay.
Right, and you asked if it's one of our long-term goals. It definitely is. I mean, it's like a big part of being Oromo youth. Like you have to take part of it. It's we see it as one of our responsibilities. So yeah, that's why we are working on advocacy committees, so we can be more focused on that while still having other programs that benefits our youth here too.
Okay, great. And I kind of touched on a little bit of the emotional and psychological toll all of this has. Do you guys talk to each other? Is there a resource for you guys that you guys utilize?
That's actually another thing that we wanted to bring up too. So we're planning on having some sort of safe space for the youth. For the board specifically, we're doing board bonding events. We're actually going to go to one after this.
Yeah.
We're actually looking forward to it.
Almost read your mind. That's amazing.
So when I during election day, I made it a big deal. With everything going on last year, we were very rushed into kind of building connections, and unfortunately, some of those were not as strong as they needed to be, and it's not a regret that we have, but we want to take it as an opportunity to build those better connections this year.
Okay. Right, because last year, I mean, it was a toll on everyone. So we kind of, that needing to, like sit down and talk about it, it's needed in the community. So that is something that we're looking forward to also, take part in.
Okay. Is there anything that, the community can do for you guys? Like as a, I know you guys are part of OCM. Do you guys function out of OCM? Am I correct?
Yeah, we have access to it. We have an office there. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there resources there that are available to you guys, or that you guys would like with the safe space?
So we always have access to the building, and we can request it in that sense.
Right. But, if there is people, I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of people with way more resources. We, as a board, we are only a number of people. So if, the community has a better idea or like better resources or just resources in general, it would be nice if they could, reach out to us and let us know, and, we could work with that.
Okay. How can we reach you guys? Let's say I wanted to reach out. kind of to give you feedback or, just to support and, or financial support and whatever support, moral support, how do I reach you guys? Do you guys have a website? Do you guys have a number, contact number? Do you guys want to let the viewers know?
Yeah, so our main email is always available, Oromia Youth Association 1998 at Gmail. I think I got it. So we also have, Instagram, Twitter. So those are also places we are easily accessible. Facebook, a lot of people message us on Facebook Messenger too.
Okay.
So, and on Instagram, it's Oya Minnesota. It's Oya MN actually. So you can, if you DM us on there, be sure to reply really quick. And our Facebook name is Oromo Youth Association. So yeah, you can reach us on there too.
Okay. Anything else to add? Okay. Yeah. Putting no pressure at all. So towards the end, I know there are a lot of youth who, growing up, they don't know if they want to be a part of Oya. They might want to be a part of Oya. Maybe there are parents who are on the fence about allowing their kids to be a part of Oya. What is a message that you guys would like to send to people watching you right now?
For me, the message I want to send, I think, you're never too sure if you want to join something or if you can be committed to it. So I say start small, help us with anything you can. If you can just if you have ideas of how we should run things, that's definitely welcome. Or if you want to help out when we have certain days or events, then that's also very welcome. So any kind of involvement, and whenever you feel like, I want to be committed to it, then we also welcome everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few ways we can even be a support system to other people. So recently someone reached out to us to borrow some clothes. So that's a quick way of, it's really simple way of reaching out to us and be like, can Oya help me with this?
Yeah.
And now they know what Oya is capable of doing.
Okay.
Also, it's just, I guess this is coming from a personal perspective of always being shy and kind of being to yourself. It's at one point in time, you have to take that leap. You can't be closed off to yourself, especially with everything that's going on back home. There's so much you can do as the youth, especially with the fact that you're born here and you have access to social media. I feel like you need to take full advantage of that. And with Oya being someone or a group that can be advocacy with that, then you can definitely, reach out to us and we can help you with that. Or even by joining like I did, then you learn more.
Yeah.
And something that stuck out to me that Lummi actually said during election is there isn't a right time. So it's any time is the right time.
It's just a leap of faith.
Yeah.
I definitely get that. And now I'm going to give you the floor if you guys have any, concerns or anything that you guys want to talk about, or any last message or any last words that you have. As for me, I'm very impressed with you guys. Thank you for coming on our show and talking a little bit about Oya. And you guys are doing phenomenal work. And we're, as Oromia11 and me as Fatima, I'm always going to be 100% behind you guys. And this is your home. You guys can access it whenever you need anything of us. But go ahead, your last... Not last words. Last message.
Last message. Wow, I thought I had one, and now I'm choking up.
Okay, well, I do.
Take your time.
I do. One of my messages, to everyone in our community is we appreciate any and every kind of help we get, even advice, ideas, or even, helping us physically. Everything, we appreciate it. So even if you, DM us or text us or send us an email, with your ideas or advice on how we could do things better, we appreciate all of that. So, I love to hear from our community.
Okay, thank you.
All I have to say is we're here to support any and everyone. So we would just, want that to be reciprocated with the community.
Yeah.
And what am I to base you?
Awesome.
Actually, I'm just going to echo what they're saying. So Oya is stronger when the community is behind it.
Yep. I 100% agree.
Right. Also, one thing, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but okay.
Go on.
I'm going to say one thing is, you don't have to feel like, Oya's going in a certain direction and I don't like it and I'm not going to be a part of it or I'm not going to support it. Oya is a youth youth association. So, the youth has the chance to lead it in a certain direction they want to. So with that being said, I want everyone to, like, even if they feel like we're not going in a certain direction they want to see, then, I want them to feel like they can change that.
Yeah, they can be a part of it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They can be a part of it, be a part of the success and everything.
Thank you so much. That was a great last message, and I'm sure we can all, as a society and as a community, benefit from it. Until we have you back next time with tougher questions.
Right.
Thank you for being here, guys. That was great. You guys did great.
Thanks.
Thank you.